In this presentation, we are going to derive the expression for velocity of the transverse waves traveling on a string. Just observe the animation. A jerk is given to one end of the rope and the wave pulse moves from left side to right side. The movement of the pulse that itself shows that the wave travels from one end to another end. When wave travels from one end to another end, its velocity v can be calculated by the following steps. In this presentation, I am going to teach you how to find out the velocity of the transverse waves when the transverse waves travels in a string. Okay. In the case of stringed instruments, when the string is vibrated, when the string is hammered or bowed with the help of a bow or with the help of hammering, when the string is vibrated, through the string the transverse waves are traveling. When the transverse waves are traveling in the string, that wave, that one will have some velocity. So in today's topic we are going to derive the expression for velocity of the transverse waves when it is passing through the string. Here you have to imagine that it is a string. Already the animated clipping of the string was already shown. Okay, when the string is vibrated, when the string is moved up and down, when it is jerked, what will happen? The wave is traveling in the string in the form of pulse. You could see the movement of the pulse. That movement of the pulse itself shows that the wave is traveling right from left to right direction. Are you clear? This one could be taken as left side, that one could be taken as right side. So the pulse is traveling from one end to another end. That shows the direction of the wave. When the wave moves, the wave must have velocity. Are you clear? So with the help of the movement of the pulse, we are able to identify the movement of the wave. So we are going to find out the expression for the velocity of the transverse waves when it is passing through the string. Here in this pulse, that particular part of the pulse is clear, just that portion alone is magnified. Are you clear? When it is plucked or when the wave moves, a part of the pulse is taken, that is magnified here. Understood? So a small portion of the wave is magnified. There you could see a part of the pulse. So in this string, a part of the pulse is drawn. Here a small segment is taken. In the string a small segment is taken. The name of the segment is taken as AB. Are you clear? That AB portion is shaded. Are you clear? It is highlighted. So here what happens when the string is vibrated, the string will have tension. Without tension we are not able to produce the wave. Are you clear? So tension is provided here. So how the tension is to be drawn here, this is the direction of the tension. Are you clear? On either side of the segment you have to draw the direction of the tension. So here this is the direction of the tension. In this direction the tension direction to be drawn. On the other side also, the tension direction must be drawn. Are you clear? The T that shows the direction of the tension. What is tension? Force per unit length is called tension. Are you clear? That force is acting, no, that force is acting in each part of the length of the wire, that is called as tension. This is the direction of the tension. Without tension, the wave cannot be produced. Vibration is not possible. Are you clear? So on either side, the direction of the tension is mentioned. Are you clear? Now, let us imagine this AB part alone. Now we are going to calculate the factor called linear density. What is this? Linear density. Look at the term called linear density. It's a very important term. First time you are learning the term called, what is this? Linear density. That linear density term is represented by the letter mu. Are you clear? So here I have taken a small segment. No, its mass that can be taken as dm. the small portion of the AB, its mass is dm. This small portion, that segment, AB segment, its length can be taken as dl. Are you clear? What is this? dm is the mass of the AB portion, dl is the length of this AB portion. So how to calculate the linear density? The general formula is mass per unit length is called as what is this? Linear density. If you calculate how much amount of mass is present in a particular length, that factor is called what is this? Linear density. Therefore, in this arc portion alone is considered, therefore linear density is nothing but mass per length. Here, what is the mass of this portion? dm is the mass of the AB arc portion and dl is the length of the portion. Therefore, mass per unit length, dm by dl, that gives you what is the factor called? Linear density. Later, we are going to use this portion mu for further derivation. Understood? As I have told earlier, the tension is acting in this direction. Here also the tension is acting. Understood? Now, this arc that could be clear extended like this. Are you clear? So, it's a curve. It's a curvature. No, if it is extended, there, if both the two lines are extended, there you can get the center portion of the circle. Are you clear? If it is extended, you will get a circle. This portion will be the center of the curvature. Are you clear? The center of the curvature can be written as O. Now you have got a small triangular part. Are you clear? Now here you can draw one angle called theta. You can draw one angle called theta. Are you clear? Already I have written dl. The small length portion is dl. Now due to this tension, are you clear? Due to the tension, there will be a centripetal force acting towards the center. Are you clear? Here this small circular part is there, no? So in this portion there is a force which is acting towards the center. That name of the force that can be called as centripetal force, that can be written by the letter FCP. Why CP is written? That CP, that denotes the centripetal force. Are you clear? Because this arc portion will be always pulled by the centripetal force. Are you clear? When the pulse moves, when the pulse is further moving and moving, the arc portion will be pulled towards the center. So there must be a centripetal force that is acting towards the O. Are you clear? That is because of the tension. Understood? Now we have to find out what is the expression for centripetal force. Since it is acting towards the center, it is called centripetal force. So before going to calculate the centripetal force, we should know what is the expression for centripetal acceleration. So ACP, what is ACP? Centripetal acceleration, ACP is nothing but, what is the formula? In the previous concepts, in the first volume, you have learned V square divided by R. Are you clear? That is the formula. Are you clear? V square divided by R is the expression for centripetal acceleration. Here, which one is R? Here, if it is extended, you will get a circle. So here, this portion that gives you the center of the circle. Are you clear? This is the center of the circle, and this portion is can be taken as radius of the circle. Here, center of the circle is there. This portion can be taken as radius of the circle. So through this radius alone, that centripetal force and centripetal acceleration both are acting. Are you clear? So therefore V square divided by R is the expression for centripetal acceleration. Therefrom we are going to get the centripetal force. So what is the formula from Newton's law? FCP. What is FCP? FCP is equal to mass mv square divided by R is the general expression. Are you clear? mv square divided by R is the expression for centripetal force. So here, what is m? Mass of this portion can be taken as dm. Are you clear? Write it in bracket, dm. And then what is v? V is the velocity. Are you clear? V square divided by R. That this portion, capital R, must be written. So this is the expression for centripetal force. Understood? Any doubt on this? Already you have written the formula for mu. Mu is equal to dm by dl. Therefrom we are able to write the expression for dm. What is dm? The mass of the part of the arc is called dm. dm is equal to mu into dl is the formula. Instead of dm, substitute the value mu into dl into v square divided by r is the expression for centripetal force. Are you clear? So this much amount of centripetal force is acting towards the center. Because of that, a part of the wire is pulled. Are you clear? So this is the expression called, what is this? Centripetal force. Are you clear? Who provides the centripetal force? The force, centripetal force, is provided by the tension. Are you clear? Now we have to find out the clear another expression. Are you clear? Here the force is purely because of the tension. This force that must be equated with some other equation. So we have to get one more equation, that is what is this? Force due to tension must be calculated. Force due to tension must be calculated. Therefrom you have to get the clear another expression. Both of them must be equated. Are you clear? Now we are going to derive the expression for force due to tension. Here, this is the direction through which the tension is acting. This is the direction of the force due to tension. Here also the tension is acting. This is the direction through which the force due to tension is acting. Here, in between this distance r, here I have drawn one line now, that is the radius of the arc portion. Here the angle subtended is theta. With respect to this line, with respect to this radius line, the theta can be divided into two equal parts. Therefore, this portion becomes theta by 2. Here also that another portion also becomes theta by 2. So here, this force due to tension that can be resolved into two components. That the force due to tension can be resolved into two components. Look at that. So here, I could draw one line here. This is the horizontal component of the tension. Are you clear? So there I can write it as horizontal component. Now I could draw the vertical component of the force due to tension. Are you clear? This is the vertical component. Make a note. Are you clear? So here theta by 2 is there. Here also same theta by 2 will be here. Understood? Here the same theta by 2, that one will be existing here. Make a note. Alternate angles are equal. Are you clear? So here the same angle, that one will be existing here, theta by 2. So this is the horizontal component of the force due to tension. This is the vertical component of the force due to tension. Are you clear? So how to write the horizontal component of the tension? T is clear. You have to write like this. T cos, the angle is theta by 2. Therefore T cos theta by 2 must be written. Here how to write the vertical component of the tension? Here it must be written as, what is this? T sin theta by 2. The T that simply represents the force due to tension. Make a note. Are you clear? T is nothing but force due to tension. It should be taken in that way. The same kind of diagram that should be drawn on the other side also. So this is the direction of the horizontal component of the force due to tension. This is called horizontal component. How to write? T cos theta by 2. The thing what is drawn, that must be drawn on the other side also. This is the vertical component of the force due to tension. So this is called vertical component. How to write? T sin theta by 2. Are you clear? Look at the diagram. Here T cos theta by 2 is acting in this direction. On the other side, T cos theta by 2 is acting in the opposite direction. Two equal vectors, they are acting on the opposite direction. Therefore, both of them, they will be nullifying with each other. So the net effect will be 0. Net force will be 0 in this direction. Are you clear? But it is not so in the downward direction. Look at the direction of the T sin theta by 2 and T sin theta by 2. Both are acting in the same direction. Both the two vectors must be added. Are you clear? When the two vectors are added, you will get the net sum value. Since both are acting in the same direction, both of them must be added. That one gives you the clear. What is the centripetal force? Are you clear? First you calculate force due to tension. Force due to tension can be calculated by the clear. Add both. Simply you add both the two forces. T sin theta by 2 plus T sin theta by 2. That is the formula. After adding, you will get 2T sin theta by 2. Could you understand that? So this is the method of adding both the two. Understood? So this is called, what is this? Force due to tension. Here, the main important thing is when here the angles are too small. When the angles are too small, sine it loses its significance. So sine can be removed. Therefore, force due to tension is equal to 2t. Sine can be eliminated and simply you can write it as theta by 2. Now you cancel both 2 to clear and finally you will get t theta. So therefore force due to tension is equal to t into theta. So this is a final expression. Already I have written the expression for centripetal force. That centripetal force is acting here, no? The centripetal force is acting towards the center, no? That centripetal force is provided by which force? The force due to tension. You have to relate both. Very important. Are you clear? The centripetal force acting on the string towards the center is provided by force due to tension. Now, this equation can be taken as 1 and this equation can be taken as 2. That 1 and 2 both can be equated. Are you clear? So, how to write? Finally, we are going to derive the expression for the velocity of the transverse waves through the string. As I have told earlier, the centripetal force is provided by force due to tension. How to write this? Centripetal force, FCP, that is provided by force due to tension. This is a very important expression. You should know that. In the different circular motions, the centripetal force are provided by different kind of forces. In this case, the centripetal force is provided by the tension. Understood? Already we have derived the expression for which one? Centripetal force. What is the expression? Already we have written mu dl. What is this? Mu dl v square divided by r, which is equivalent to t theta. That is expression. Are you clear? Already we have written. So here we have to replace the theta. Understood? Already, is it clear? This arc was already done. I will draw a small arc. With the help of that, I will explain. This is the arc portion and this portion is the small length portion dl, and here this is the radius r. Are you clear? Usually the dl, small arc portion, can be obtained by multiplying these two, theta and r. Are you clear? So therefore dl can be replaced by theta and r. Mu theta, is it clear? And r can be substituted. Understood? Theta and r can be substituted. V square is there, divided by r can be written t into theta. On either side, theta is there, both can be cancelled. R can be cancelled. Understood? So what is the remaining thing? V square is equal to t divided by mu. This is the final expression. So to get the V, that is velocity of the transverse waves through the string, that can be calculated by, is it clear? The final formula, take square root on both sides. After taking square root, you will get the value V is equal to t divided by mu. So this is the final expression. So here what is T? T is nothing but tension acting on the string. What is mu? Mu is called as linear density. That mass per unit length is that mass per unit length is also called as, what is this? Linear density of the wire. So the velocity of the wave, velocity of the transverse waves, clear, that is directly proportional to square root of the tension acting on the string. These are all the conclusions. The same velocity of the transverse waves through the string is inversely proportional to, clear, square root of the linear density. Are you clear? The meaning is, when tension increases, velocity also increases. When linear density increases, velocity will decrease. Are you clear? When linear density decreases, velocity will increase. So these are all the conclusion. This is the final expression, clear, that is derived here. So V is equal to square root of T by mu. Don't forget the formula. Whenever we do any problem related to the transverse waves, when they are passing through the string, this formula must be recalled. Understood?